Brain Woodlands area. They work differently than some of our other people because they're just so relatable, so like laid back and so approachable. And I really love the scripts that they're going to go over because it's something that for people who are naturally introverted or we just get scared or we don't know what to say, we don't want that boxy, unrelatable script. So this is going to be awesome. Thank you for joining, and thank you, Dana and Bruce, for doing this for us.
Absolutely, we're excited. Hello, everybody. Let me see if we can get, there we go. How's everybody doing today? Okay. So
We're waking up.
okay. So we are going to just share some things with you, that some scripts that are good scripts to use, gives you a good basis for the information that you want to try to obtain from your contacts that you can utilize to, help you build rapport and build relationships, so that when they do need a real estate agent, whenever that is, that you come to front of mind. The key, in my opinion, to scripts is to be able to draw the information out of that person you're talking to about their motivation. So if you think about how's this person motivated, what's motivating them, then you know what to point back to when you need to. So a couple of things. First, though, is that Bruce and I run a team out of Old Town Spring. We've got 10 team agents. We have several that came to us as rookies. They're doing a good job of closing deals. We are putting them through a coaching system that we utilize. And when they first got into the business and talked about, cold calling and reaching out to people you don't know and things like that, it was completely intimidating for a lot of them. They thought, oh, I'm going to get into real estate and I'm going to be able to just have deals roll into me from my sphere of influence or my contacts that I already have.
And it doesn't happen.
It doesn't work that way. Almost every person in your sphere probably knows 4 or 5 different real estate agents. So, you have to be able to have streams of income from different sources, different lead sources, whether it's cold calls or Zillow leads or realtor.com, whatever you choose to use. But getting over that intimidation of talking to a stranger is a big thing.
And one of the huge things, what you say and how do you say it, right? Because we always think we can talk, but whenever you get on the phone, it's a totally different process. So,
right.
Your scripts are key. You can always personalize things. We have uploaded some of the scripts we use, but part of, like I said, this class that we utilize is really learning these scripts where you have it memorized by heart, because even though you might use a expired script or learn that expired script, those questions flow over into other type of leads as well, and it comes front of mind when you start talking to people. So it really does help.
One of the things that our coaches recommended, and I've been through many different real estate coaching programs, and I've never this before this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, this is crazy. I just can't imagine this working. But each script that we learned, we had to write 5 times a day, 7 days a week for 2 weeks. And it does amazing things how you absorb it and how you utilize it, because something about having to write it like that creates a different type of memorization in you, and it makes it to where it becomes much more natural. So we started our agents in this program, and they were all intimidated by cold calling and reaching out to people they didn't know, and how do I start that conversation, and what if I say the wrong thing, and all of those things. And about 5 weeks into the program that we utilize, they started coming in and saying, I need some phone numbers. Can you get me some phone numbers to call? I want to call some people. So it just really helped them to get over that hurdle and that mindset thing that gets in your way. It's usually our mindset that prevents us from doing the things that we need to do, more so than what the responses from the people you're calling are providing.
And another thing I kind of would add to that is I'm a strong believer in taking action immediately. Don't worry about being perfect. Just get out there and make mistakes. So what, even we've been agents for 7 or 8 years now. scripts, we still have to go back through and practice our scripts, get on the phones. You know, you'll be a little rusty at first if you haven't done it for a while. I love to call and just call all over Houston, places I know I don't want to work, just in the very beginning, because it helps with your scripts, right? So it's training. If you hit a lead, great. If you don't, doesn't matter, right? So you can always make mistakes and you just keep moving forward.
So one of the things about mindset and scripts is we get asked the question all the time, what if I say the wrong thing? I don't know what to say. And one of the things that our coach taught us, and it rings so true, working your phones and working your leads, it's a numbers game. And every no gets you one step closer to a yes. So you have to look at it that way, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I'm just not getting any response that's favorable. So what he taught us is that you have to focus on the process that you're in. Don't focus on the end result. You're not going to obtain that end result every day. It's a numbers thing. So you focus on the process, not the end result. The other thing is that you really, 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 when you get the right person on the phone who wants to work with you, you can't say the wrong thing. You absolutely can't say the wrong thing if you get that person to the right person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So there's a few things that where are we? Bear with me 1 second. I lost my place. What is it about mindset? Like, what do you think people say to themselves about cold calling and lead calling? Is anybody got their mics on where they can respond?
I'm always worried I'm going to annoy someone or bother them.
Anybody else? No.
No.
Well, okay.
So to that question or that answer, I would say it's true. We feel like that in our head, right? And we will annoy a lot of people when we call them.
Sure.
But that doesn't matter, right? We're looking for the people that really need our help. And when you hit those people, you can definitely feel that and see the difference. And I promise you, if you don't take action and you worry too much about annoying people, you will lose business. It happens to us too often. I had a lead the other day. I followed up with a text. 2 days later, I called him back and he's like, oh, I didn't hear back from you. I've already listed with another guy. So, it's like hits you in the heart whenever that happens. You're like, I was so close. I had this deal and I let it slip because I didn't follow up enough. Even
your sphere, you can have people, we've had people before that we sold the house to, we sold their house before that, we sold them 2 or 3 houses. And if you don't do a good job of staying in front of them, they'll meet another real estate agent and they won't think twice about, hey, let me call Dana back. I'm going to just give this new person a shot that I'm at. And it's not that we did anything wrong or anything like that, but it's just somebody else became front of mind. So it's important to stay in front of folks, like your past clients and your, sphere of influence that you already have. It's also real important to keep notes on every person that you come in communication with. For example, you might call somebody and they might tell you, hey, you know what, I'm interested in doing something, but my husband's sick and I've got to wait till I get him better. Well, that's something to be mindful of the next time you talk to them is, hey, how's your husband doing? And it makes people realize that you truly do care. It's not just that you're looking for business. They say that nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. So those things, it's about building rapport, building relationship.
Right.
There's some different scripts that Sydney sent out to everybody. We just shared a few scripts with you that we utilize and that our agents utilize.
One of the things I would say that I would challenge everyone, whether you're a new agent or experienced agent, take one of the scripts that we sent out that you want to focus on, whether it's for sale by owner, expireds, any of those scripts. Like we said, take that script, you write it out 5 times a day, every day. Go back through every morning, read that, try to find a partner that you can role play with before in the mornings, and then try to focus 2 hours every morning making calls. If you're looking for sale by owners, that's very simple. You can go to Zillow, look for houses for sale by owner. They have phone numbers there. So you can call those people, talk, go through the script, make mistakes, do whatever you can to set up appointments. And you will, after probably 4 or 5 weeks, you should be able to just quote those scripts by heart without ever looking at the paper.
Those of you that are on camera and can, just by quick show of hands, how many of you have established a goal for your this year? Has anybody established a goal for this year? Okay, there's one. So we have 6 quick keys that we kind of see as keys to success. One is that you need to have a goal. You need to try to see where you're going, where you want to get, and then reverse engineer that goal. So you're going to figure out about how many conversations you think you need to have to achieve your goal. Because remember, working leads is it's a numbers game. You're not going to call and get a yes every day. You're going to call and get a yes as you nurture things along over time. Number 2 is to know your why. Why are you doing this? What is your motivation? Just like you're trying to find out the motivation of the people you talk to, you need to know your own motivation. Number 3 is a mindset, to create a strong mindset. In other words, figure out for you, what are the beliefs you have that limit you, what we call them limiting beliefs. What beliefs do you have about working leads and using scripts that may be holding you back?
And I feel like podcasts and different things can really help with mindset, because that's one of the biggest challenges most people have, is definitely going over, you replay things in your mind, and that definitely is a huge challenge or obstacle to overcome.
And honestly, sometimes it's excuses that we have for ourselves because we don't want to do something that we need to do. I can speak from experience. We had a couple of years ago, we had a certain lead source that we were working, and I would come into the office and know I need to make my calls on this lead source, but I'd have 4 or 5 emails on different things, and I'd take my time, responded to the emails. And finally one day, and this is good about having an accountability partner, finally one day I came in and Bruce had taken my computer mouse and hid it. So I couldn't respond to anything till I made my calls that day. So something so simple as just me making up excuses and other things, distractions that needed to be done. You've got to find a way to remove those things and focus on what you need to do. And that comes to being committed. You have to make a strong commitment, and you have to have an accountability partner that holds you accountable and says, hey, you're not staying on point today. We need to get back on point. Those things are some keys that I think are real important to success in working leads. So that being said, I think we want to kind of hit a couple of these scripts just to talk about, how they work and how to utilize them. And, this is, like I said, a coaching program that we offer all of our agents as part of our sponsorship and team members as well. We have agents that we sponsored, and then we also have a team that we have agents on. So the first script that we provided, it looks like you guys have the past client sphere of influence script.
Should be in y'all's email. If y'all have that, you can definitely open that up and pull it up, or you can look at it later.
Yes, and I have in the chat box, I have a link. Y'all can click and download it if you don't have it.
Thank you, Amanda. So these scripts, role play is extremely important in getting comfortable in your own skin when you're working scripts. I highly recommend that you get an accountability partner and you sit down and you role play these scripts out until this becomes natural for you and you don't have to look at them anymore. And writing them the 5 times a day for 7 days makes a huge difference in making you feel more comfortable with them. So this would be used if you were calling someone that's already in your database, somebody that maybe you've known for a long time, but maybe you haven't done any transactions with them. Or you may have done transactions with them, but it's kind of, you don't want to ask for business every time you call these folks, but there's a strategy to it. And sometimes you do want to ask for business. Sometimes you do want to ask for their referrals. I'll let you go ahead and start and I'll answer you.
Yep.
That work?
Hi, Dana. This is Bruce, your realtor. Do you have a moment for me?
Sure. What's up?
I have a goal to help 10 families this year buy a home, to buy or sell a home in here in Houston. And I was wondering, who do you know that we could help?
Well, let's see. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anybody at the moment.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to think about that, but can you think of any relatives, friends, or neighbors that may need help at this time?
You know, I don't know of anybody right now.
Well, again, I do appreciate you giving it some thought. Question though, when do you plan on moving?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm planning to move for a few years.
Oh, well, that's totally understandable. Let me, I'll let you get going. I know your time is valuable, and before I do, just have one favor to ask you.
Sure. What's that?
If you do come across someone looking to buy or sell, would you do me a favor and keep me in mind?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you being a great client, and thanks for recommending me.
So, I mean, you know, it's all just simple conversation, but for some reason, because it's a script and we call it a script, we get worked up about it, you know? And the reality is we feel like we're going to annoy people, but I promise you that when you get on the phone, you annoy many less people than you think you're going to annoy. And sometimes you'll get that person that says, you know what, my niece, she's getting ready to buy a house. So, you know, it's important to keep in front of those past clients. We did a lot of work with our team on expired listings. Expireds is a good source right now because they're easy to reach out to. These folks have been on the market, and for whatever reason, they came off the market. So you know that there was some reason at some point in time they wanted to sell their house. So if you grab the expired script, we could kind of run through some of that real quick. You want to do it?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, this is Bruce with eXp Realty. The reason for my call is twofold. One, to be sure that you know that your home is no longer listed for sale, and two, to see what your plans are for that property.
Oh yeah, you know, we had it listed, we tried to sell it and it just didn't move. I think we missed the hot spot in the market.
Okay.
And it got to where it was just too difficult to do showings all the time and all of that. And we don't have to move. So
Right. Well, had the home sold, where were you moving to?
we thought we'd move closer to the grandkids up north.
Up north.
Mm-hmm.
So the grandkids, is that what takes you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
They grow so fast.
And how soon did you want to be there?
Well, like I said, we don't have to move, but we just kind of had this wild hair that we thought we might. So there's no real deadline, no timeline for us.
Well, Dana, what do you think stopped your home from selling?
I think that we just slightly missed that really hot market where people were having multiple offers on different properties. And, you know, there was just a limited buyer pool.
Right. And how did you happen to pick the last agent you listed with?
Somebody my daughter knew.
Oh, your daughter, friend of your daughter, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And what did that agent do that you liked best?
You know, I gotta say, I didn't feel great about her. I didn't feel bad about her either. It's just, I think it was kind of mediocre.
Right. And what do you feel they should have done?
I wish they would have sold the house.
That's what everybody was looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you expect from the next agent you choose?
I think I would expect a lot more guidance. I think when I'm looking for a real estate agent, I'm looking for somebody that is an expert, that maybe don't leave so much up to me, because I shouldn't know the market as well as that real estate agent does.
Basically, you want someone that can sell your house, right?
Well, yeah,
Right.
ultimately.
Well, listen, I would like to apply for the job of selling your home.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with the techniques we use to sell over 1,000 homes a year?
I don't know. Probably
No?
not.
Well, when would be the best time to show you? We have availability Monday or Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Let's do Tuesday at 4.
Perfect. We'll see you then.
So a couple of keys about this script, if y'all noticed at the end, never leave an open-ended question like, well, when would you be available? Let me know. Or what's a good day for you? Give them a choice. That there's a need to answer, A or B, instead of leaving it open-ended. If you leave it open-ended for a phone call later, chances are you're going to call and that person's not going to pick up the phone the next time.
And another thing, this is a small script, right? Just kind of get you through, but you really, I mean, there's objections. We got a whole list of objections that you would work later so that you know how to handle different questions that go on. You usually will have to work through 3 no's within a script to get a yes out of them. So this is kind of the simple part, just learning this part of the script, but really going through the objections and learning how to turn a no into a yes. I mean, that's later, but it's just kind of, we would definitely go through this first.
Right. We kind of wanted to share with you, just kind of on the surface, some of the things that, we have available as tools that can help you as an agent to increase your production, or if you're just getting started, to, help you get your feet off the ground. Because it's a challenging market right now.
And it all comes back to learning your scripts. First call is one thing. Definitely try to go through 2 or 3 no's. If you can't lock it in that day, most of it all comes through follow-up. I'll say usually we'll have to follow up 6 times before you can actually lock something down. So the agents that are willing to put in the work to really follow up with these people are the ones that are going to get the business.
Absolutely. And I think one of the hardest things too is systems. You need to have an organization to the madness of lead follow-up. And that's tricky if you don't know where to start with that. Definitely talk with one of us, Amanda, Sydney, Bruce, myself, and let us help you get a system from the beginning. I think when Bruce and I first got into the business, we didn't do that. And it just becomes haphazard. And I promise you that if you don't have a system, you will forget to follow up with somebody that you need to follow up with. And that's just leaving money on the table for somebody else. Whether it's, electronically in KV Core, which is a fabulous program to keep track of everything in, or some of us are paper junkies and we have to have hard copies. I'm one of them.
So here I have a binder where I have, I don't know if you can see here, but where I have leads that I've spoke with, and these are people that I follow up with every week. For me, it's personally, I have to write it down on a piece of paper. So I make my notes, I make the time I call, when I need to follow back up. And, it definitely helps. So you got to figure out what works for you, whether it's electronic or paper. So that's a huge spot for that.
Does anybody have any questions so far that come to mind? If you do, just turn on your mic and shout them out there.
Or send a text or chat. So I am curious, how many people in the group are?
So we have one question: how often do you follow up with everyone? Most of the coaches will tell you that if somebody says, hey, you know what, hit me back in a month, you need to cut that time in half and follow up in 2 weeks.
So if it's new leads, we have a rule. It's called a 3x3x3. So for 3 days, you do 3 calls, 3 texts, 3 emails for 3 days straight. And
then you begin to space it out.
Right. And then you start spacing out every other week until you make contact. And some people tell you call people until they answer. We like to cut it off after, if you can't get through to people at some point, you just have to kind of drop that lead and leave them in your follow-up.
Does that answer your question, hopefully? Anybody else? Okay, perfect. You were gonna say something else before we had the question come in.
No, it's just really, like I said, it's following up on the scripts. What I was going to ask is how many people in our group have their license, and how many people?
Yeah, how many are new agents and how many have been in the business a while? If you could just drop something in the chat, that would be perfect. No.
Lots in Friday.
Lots of newbies. Awesome. Well, we're excited to have y'all join us.
So I think, one thing we would say, focusing as a new agent, it's definitely a process going through and finding out what you want to work, how you want to work it. Like I said, whether it's expired listings for sale by owners, you're going to work your sphere. If you're going to work social media, we have guides for that as well, of like a timeline on what to post, when to post that. But we could definitely talk with people one-on-one, and we don't have a problem with that at all, to kind of go over their plans and what they want to accomplish.
I think that it's safe to say that there's not a successful agent in our area that gets all of their business. It's sort of a misnomer, I guess, when people say, oh, my business is referral. In our area, it's such a competitive market. There's a lot of agents that I just don't think that it's safe to put all your eggs in one source basket. I think that you have to have several different sources of business. And that's part of the things that, you need somebody to help guide you through in the beginning, is let's figure out the sources that you want to use, because there's many, many lead sources out there, some free, some cost. Some you don't pay till after you close. There's just lots of different options available. And if you don't know what you're going to work and structure yourself, you're just kind of running around madly. And that doesn't make you feel good, and that doesn't get you productive either. So I think a business plan from the beginning to determine, what lead sources you're going to work. And then from there, determine, okay, what scripts am I going to focus on? What scripts am I going to utilize? And basically have a plan from the beginning. A lot of folks, I think a lot of times when they get into real estate, they think, okay, I want to learn everything. I want to know how to write a contract, and I want to learn all the paperwork, and I want to learn all this and that and that and this before I go out there and try this on my own. You'll never get started. If you choose to, you could train for 2 years and not have it all known. And that's not going to make you commissions. So find a mentor. If you're interested, Bruce and I are both certified mentors. We also have our transaction coordinator in the office who's also a certified mentor. Find a mentor, find a partner, find somebody to help you be accountable. Work those things together and create a plan for your business, because that's going to be what makes you successful. If you need help writing a contract, believe me, there's plenty of us that can help you do that, and have done it enough that we can do it with our eyes closed. You get the relationship, you get the deal, you bond up with the people. We can help you get through the paperwork. That's the least of your concerns. You need the relationship to get to that point anyway. So start building relationships right from the beginning. And those are the things that are long-term investments in your business. You bond up with some of these people. I mean, we've got many that we've contacted and followed up over time, and they may tell you, hey, I'm not interested in doing anything. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, their Aunt Sophie dies and leaves them a house, and they need to do something with it. So it's that relationship that brings you to front of mind that makes them say, oh, I'm going to call her up and have her help me with this, because she seems to care about what's going on in my life. She keeps in touch with me, yada, yada, yada. So we try to teach all of our agents, this business is a relationship business. It's a sales business too, yes, but I choose not to focus on that. I feel like it's more of a relationship business, because relationship is what brings people back to you. Would you agree with that, Amanda?
Absolutely. I think some people are like, oh, I need 5,000 leads, and they want to go so wide and so shallow. And really, if you just had 10 raving fans that referred you 3 people each year, and you just loved on those 10 people, you'd have 30 closings and not have to spend any money online. So go deep with your people.
Yep, for sure. Anybody have any questions at this point? How are we doing on time?
You're good. It's 10:34.
Okay, perfect. I would be interested if you would drop in the chat, those of you that are licensed, are you currently an EXP agent, or do you have your licenses elsewhere? Are you kind of researching and making decisions about where you want to be. If y'all would drop something in the chat.
I put in there that our calendar too. So we all do script practice every single day. And then we have a big one on Tuesdays.
And that's Michael, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Michael is amazing. So we've got a few folks that are researching brokerages. You know, it's really important to find a good fit for your brokerage, and you want to fit where you have lots of support, because like I said, you need the support to help you write the transaction, negotiate the deal, get through the deal. And you need that support because it's the relationships that's going to get you the deal. You need to spend your time focusing on the relationship, not the tedious little paperwork. You'll learn that as you go.
And I really think a huge thing right now is teams. Being on a successful team with the support can really make a difference. I mean, there's definitely agents that can start off and run solo. That's great. But I really think the support of a team, it makes a huge difference. If anyone is interested in joining a team, I definitely would say talk with some team leaders. Also talk with the agents on those teams.
Yes.
To see what they think. I will tell you that I believe you could call any of our agents and have raving reviews because of the support we give out to our team members as well.
Most of our newer agents came into this market when it was crazy. And if you had a buyer, you were making offers on houses and you were getting beat, and there was 36 offers on the house in 8 hours. And one of our agents actually won a deal. She wrote an offer on a house that had 99 offers in the first 8 hours. And we managed to help her get that deal, and she closed that transaction. That's the kind of support that you need, because in a market like that, you don't have time to spend hours and hours writing that offer. You need somebody that can help you get that together quickly so you can get it submitted and have a chance. So that was something that I think a lot of our agents experienced. Also, weird things can happen in a transaction that there's no way, no amount of teaching can help you prepare for. It comes to mind one of our agents, his first transaction was a seller finance transaction. And the seller.
Well, the buyers sold their house.
Yeah, he had the buyers.
They had a dead end date to move out. They quit their jobs because they were retiring, buying a place, owner finance.
Loaded everything in a U-Haul.
Went through the walkthrough. The guy was at the property drunk. They had to leave. They tried to schedule a walkthrough again the day before closing. The agent found the guy had killed himself on the property. They were kicked out of, they had to leave their house. They had like 3 days to move out of their house. No job, so they couldn't get financing, and no place to move.
And managed to, our whole team jumped in and helped this agent find other seller finance properties for him, and ended up getting these people closed on something else in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So nobody could dream that scenario up and try to educate you and train you for that scenario. You just have to be able to have the support and the experience behind you to help you walk through it. Another one of those agents, her first transaction was a $750,000 home, and the appraisal came in $60,000 short. And she was like, my deal's done. She said, it's done. And we said, no, hold on. No, it's not. Here, there's some ideas. Let's walk through this one step at a time. She got it done. We figured out a solution and got it done. Both parties were happy. This lady refers her people all the time. So even the tough deal, positive outcome can still be good referral sources for you.
I think those are the best.
I agree. And there is such truth to the fact that if you really truly take care of a client and you stay in front of them, they will send you business. One of our clients comes to mind that I've done 4 transactions for this one client, and she's referred me 8 transactions, and they were all 400,000 plus properties. So, that's significant in terms of return on investment, because I didn't spend any money on that lead. I didn't buy that lead source. It was a past client referral. So, I mean, the only thing I did was spent some time on it and spent time developing and nurturing the relationship. And it ultimately turned into 12 transactions.
Yep.
So, you know, that you can't do that with a purchase lead source. I think I'd like for everybody, if you have the ability to turn your mic on, I'd love to hear some feedback or some questions from anybody that might have something they'd like to share or ask.
Any challenges that you may
Mhm.
have, or, you know, struggles that would come to mind for a new agent is fine.
Or concerns. What are you concerned about getting started
Yeah,
in the business?
Hi,
Aaron.
y'all. Aaron Plumley here. New agent. I have, you know, I've been gathering information on Sphere, and one point that I've never heard addressed yet, and I'm hoping y'all can help, is regarding friends on Facebook, right? So people acquaintances, I would say, you know, people you haven't stayed in touch with and give or take whatever, 10, 15 years. How would you go about, can you guys quickly script that or give me ideas about how you would open the door in that situation to, you know, saying hello and letting them know what you do and anything else to kind of strike that friendship back up?
So I think there's a couple of, you get into the business, you have to start changing people's frame of mind. For example, I was in engineering before I got into real estate. So everybody knew me from being in engineering. So I had to somehow shift their mindset to the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm a realtor now. I'm not just in engineering. There's lots of different ways to approach that. And I think you have to approach it multifaceted. And what I mean by that is, if there's somebody local, if they're local friends or whatever, sponsor a happy hour. Hey guys, look, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot, but hey, I just want to invite my friends to come meet with me at, you know, wherever you choose to do a happy hour. Usually we have lender sponsors and title sponsors and things like that will help participate and help absorb some of the cost of that, simply because they want to earn your business. Invite them out, spend some time talking to them. Hey, this is one of the things that I just wanted to share with you, is that I've gotten into real estate now. And you know, I think it's important to ask people and tell people, I'd appreciate you keeping me in mind anytime you know somebody that needs something in real estate.
Yeah, I think if you ask people for their help indirectly, it does make a difference. I mean, don't go and say, hey, you want to sell your house, but just say, hey, you know what? I just started in real estate. I've got my license. I'm really excited about this. And I have a goal this year that I want to help 10 families move, 10 new, you know, families move in the house. Is there anybody you can think of that would need my help that I could, you know, really help? So asking indirectly, I think, would help that. And also posting this stuff on Facebook and just really stay in front of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to also leverage, whether you're with a team or the brokerage or whatever you're with, leverage that experience. And this is something that, you know, we teach our agents all the time. They don't want to go to somebody and say, hey, this is my second real estate transaction. So what they say is, you know what, my team has helped 86 families so far this year. And it's okay to do that, because you know what, she's got the support of all of us that have, you know, done a number of transactions. It's important to leverage the experience that you have around you, because that's one of the beautiful things about EXP is we all want you to succeed.
Right.
You know, and if you understand the platform, you know why. Don't understand that platform, we'd love to share it with you and explain to you why we want to see everybody succeed that comes into the business.
And I think that kind of goes back, and I don't know if you heard some of the expired script, but one of the lines on there was, you know, are you familiar with the techniques we use to sell over 1,000 homes a year? I mean, you can change that, but even as a new agent, you might go, yeah, but I don't do that, right? But it doesn't matter. EXP does. Your team does. Team Legacy sells. I mean, our group, there's a huge number of homes that we sell. The homes that we sell in our group at Snap Realty is a large number, right? So you just utilize numbers for our group. Just like if you were working for some company, you're not going out basing everything on yourself. You're basing it on the company's outline.
Something else that I've seen to kind of open that door to that conversation, like with Facebook friends and things like that. Amanda, I've seen you do this before, is that, hey, you know what, I'm working with a transaction coordinator or somebody in my office or somebody on my team, and I want them to learn how to do market analysis. Could we perform a market analysis for you on your home? Would you send us, the address and let us just do this? It's a courtesy to you, but it's a good thing for me to train my people on also. And that kind of opens the door to, you slip that CMA into them. And oftentimes that leads to more questions. So you start the dialogue about being in real estate with something as simple as, I'm just trying to, help somebody
Would
here.
you mind providing your address
Mhm.
so that I can do some test CMAs?
Mhm.
I'd be, more than happy to send it over. It just would really help my career out.
Yeah. One other thing, if you have people that are local, I'm a big proponent of what we call pop buys. Dropping off something that's, maybe has a little gimmicky thing about it. I know one of the things that we did this year that went over real well is we didn't even drop them off. We sent out Astros baseball schedules to all of our past clients and all of our sphere with a little card in it, just reminding them, hey, we're here if you need anything, if you have any friends or family that need anything. And everybody likes, getting the schedule, and it's on a magnet they can hang on their fridge. And, there's a little bit of cost to that. And I know that when you're new, you either have a lot of time on your hands to do a lot of things on your own, or you may have the resources to, pay for some things like that. There's options available either way. You can do this without spending a lot of money. You can choose to spend some money. And I'm going to ask Sydney to send out, I know in Basecamp, we have a list of 100 different potential lead sources that we'll share with you also, that things that you wouldn't even think about, can turn into a lead source.
Mhm.
So hopefully that helps a little bit. Aaron?
Can I bring follow up on that a little bit? Okay. You talked about the Astro schedule. I thought about that too. That sounds great. I was wondering, when you did that, do you guys run into any trademark issues using their logo? You have to pay for it? Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's just, we just,
Because we want to make it look as professional as possible, right? So, it looks really good if you have that star,
Yeah. So we ordered them from a company, and I'll have to get my assistant to give me the name of the company. I don't remember it offhand, but we'll share it with everybody. That has probably already paid the trademark fees and issues to be able to utilize that. So
yeah, I'd love to know who that is.
Yeah, definitely. I'll get that from her and we'll send it out to everybody. So yeah, that's one thing. Also for, teams like our team, we offer some client appreciation events throughout the course of the year that basically we underwrite. We have a couple of sponsors that help us underwrite things like this. We have a lender sponsor that participates. And we just make these events available to our team so that they can bring their past clients. One year we have an office in Old Town Springs. So we hired and brought in a petting zoo at Easter time and invited them to bring their kids out and see the animals and, hang out and that type of thing. Went over real well. The next year we did a big Easter egg hunt. And I think we had about 200 people come out to the Easter egg hunt. So, those are things that if you're interested in a team or a group, those are resources that you could have available to you without having to spend money on them. That's something that we just provide our team as a courtesy for them to be able to do some marketing without spending a bunch of money on it. But yeah, with the Astro schedule, definitely just make sure that you order it from somebody that has the licensure to print them out and do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there some other questions?
Yeah.
So Joanna would love a script for door knocking. Is there a way that maybe people could reach out to you and if they had specific questions, and then maybe I'll provide the list of who registered and you can share all of your juicy scripts to them?
Absolutely. You can email me directly or, reach out to Sydney or Amanda. My email is Dana Lynn, lynn.re@gmail.
And if they want to call and talk, I mean, we can
Oh, yeah,
definitely set something up.
absolutely. We
Yeah.
can ask Cindy to send our numbers out also in the emails to
Mhm.
everybody and all our contact information, because we'd love to talk to anybody that's interested in, finding out more about what we do and how we do it and looking for some, extra support.
Yeah.
Mhm. Anybody else? Y'all are too quiet.
They're new and nervous. I will say I've met with so many mentors and so many team leaders over the years, and y'all are just so patient. Like you really take the time to this is the foundation. Let's build on that step by step. It's okay. There's no dumb questions. And I think that's so huge for people who are starting off. Everything is new and scary.
It is. It's new and scary. And I tell all our agents all the time, because one of them will call and say, I've got a stupid question. And I always tell them, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. If you don't ask the question, that's the stupid question. If you ask it, it's not, because you've got to have answers somehow, some way. And one of the reasons we have such a heart, I think, for mentoring. So Bruce and I, to give you a little background, we both got our licenses around the same time and ended up at the same brokerage.
Yeah.
We have a question.
So talking about the code calling and a voicemail. So one thing I always tell people, do a double dial.
Double dial.
So if it goes to voicemail, hang up, call right back. Half the time people will answer on that second time around. If they don't, leave a voicemail, follow up with a text message, or a video message is even better.
Mhm.
And then repeat that the next day as well. Or you can actually call 3 different times of the day if you want to call in the morning, around lunchtime, then later in the evening, to see when you can hit these people or catch them.
If you go to voicemail and you do the double dial, a lot of times they will pick up on the second dial, because it creates a curiosity. It's like, wow, this person's really adamant.
Mhm.
What I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. A lot of times.
So that's a
they'll pick
great
up.
question.
Mhm. Real good question. No, I lost my train of thought.
I think, is that Nee?
Yes, hi. I'm a new agent, so it's I kind of introduce myself as a new agent, as an agent to some of people that I know, but I feel like they kind of know me that I'm never in real estate before, and so they kind of feel like me new, and they not really trust me as a
Right.
new agent. So how we can tell them that we can do this in good business.
I think that's still where you leverage whatever group you're with.
So I think you definitely leverage your group, but I also think that some of that's your mindset, right?
Mhm.
You've got to stop and think. You went to the classes, even though they may not feel like you've been in the business for 10 years, you
Mhm.
have more than most of them, just because you went to the classes, and you also have the support of your group, Team Legacy, and whoever else, your sponsors might be. So it comes back down to confidence, and you're not going to win all of them off the bat, but take the hard ones, take whatever you can, work with them, even if you have to take whoever, your sponsors, and get with some of these people. Just say, hey, I'd love to work with you right now. And as you know, I am a newer agent, but don't worry. We have a team with 20 years of experience that we're going to focus on you and help provide you the service that you need.
I know where I was going to about it being new and scary. So Bruce and I ended up at the same brokerage. We got our licenses probably a couple weeks apart.
Mhm.
Ended up at the same brokerage, and
Didn't know each other.
didn't know each other. And we were assigned a mentor. And the mentor, whenever we would call her with a question, she would say, I really don't know how to answer that. Why don't you call Bruce? Or, hey, Bruce, why don't you call Dana? And we were
new.
equally new. We were like, okay.
We would look at things, or even if she gave us an answer, it would be wrong
Yeah,
sometimes. And
something
we're
just,
like,
yeah.
this isn't right. But with that being said, what we ended up doing was we went through, figured out the problems on our own,
Mhm.
and we become the point of contact for all the new agents. They would just come to us for questions.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we fell in line with loving to sponsor new agents,
Mhm.
having that patience for people, because we had to have it in the very beginning for ourselves.
Mhm.
So
And we understand new and scary completely.
So what we do for our team, I mean, we have a group. We have, I mean, even the people we sponsor, it's like, if you ever have a question, it doesn't matter when, where, what time, get on that group thread and you put something out. I promise you, one of us are going to respond. So you really get 3 of us whenever you're on our team, because you have Dana, me and Dana, and then our transaction coordinator, Shauna. We're always usually on that thread to answer any question. If it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm not answering, Dana will.
I will.
If it's
He's a
8
morning
o'clock in the
person, I'm a
morning,
night owl.
I'm going to answer the question. Okay. So we work very well. And we don't always agree.
No,
No big deal. And there's not always the perfect answer. It's different ways to look at the answer. So,
and you know, I think we've worked together for 8 years now and have disagreements, but we always find a solution that, you know, works. So it's really important when you do find somebody that you work well with to I mean, leverage that. It's all about leverage. So you've got plenty of things that you can leverage. You've got plenty of support that you can leverage, just depending on how you want to structure your business. And if you need input or insight about that, I know myself, Bruce, Amanda, so we'd all be glad to talk to you about that and help you.
but I promise it goes back to mindset. Okay.
Yes.
The more you focus on your mindset and feeling like you're a professional, the more it comes off that you are a professional. So doubt shows in other people's eyes. So we definitely want to help with that.
Yeah, I mean, boots on the ground, you're an expert. And some people say fake it till you make it. You may not feel like an expert, but you need to tell yourself you're an expert, because they're going to see what you're thinking and what you're feeling. So anybody else have any questions?
This was amazing. Thank y'all so much for volunteering your time and your experience and sharing this with everyone.
Absolutely. We are happy to do it. And if anybody needs anything, feel free to let us know.
Yep. We'd love to
Y'all
talk.
have-
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Y'all have Dana's email on here, and we're going to share with them your emails if you register with this Eventbrite. We would love to plug y'all into the script practice and everything that they do. So thank you all. We do this every Tuesday. So next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. And also on the same link today at 2 o'clock, we have some really cool, it's called the Hot Seat, and we're going to do some masterminding. So y'all are invited to anything. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.